Hi, this is Dan Bradley. You're watching BollywoodHungama.com.
It's a huge privilege to have Mr. Dan Bradley with us. He's the stunt coordinator and second unit director for some notable Hollywood films like Independence Day, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, the Bourne Supremacy, and he's also been associated with a movie like Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol as a second unit director, and he's designing stunts, and he's the second unit director of Ghayal sequel of Sunny Deol. Huge pleasure to have you on Bollywood Hungama first of all, sir. The entire experience of you just shifting your paradigm from the big budgeted and huge Hollywood films to a Bollywood film. So how has been the experience so far?
It's been pretty great. I was very honored that Sunny approached me at all, and I was curious as all hell about what it would be like coming to the other side of the world to make a film in a place that makes more movies than anywhere else in the world. And the economies are different, and really I think the biggest difference for me was that years ago I designed a very expensive flying computer-controlled winch system for flying in stunts. And that kind of technology is frankly, it was just too expensive here because of the economics of it. So it was like, it was sort of going back to an earlier technology that I embraced, in the 90s, the kind of stuff we did Independence Day with.
Right.
So, it was, I'm a guerrilla filmmaker. I love getting down and just, getting the cameras in the street and, getting people to drive fast and hit the ground. So.
What has been the experience of working with Sunny Deol? He's one of the finest action stars that we have in India, and he's been around for a long time now. I met with him about a year ago in Los Angeles, and we sat and we just talked about sort of our philosophies and our beliefs about action and storytelling and characters, because I'm very much I really embrace character-driven action. So if you look at my work, it's it's not about the biggest stunt, it's not about the highest fall or the farthest car jump. It's really about trying to find sort of the emotional core of actors and how to exploit that core or learn about that through the action. So and that's what he wanted to do, is introduce to the Bollywood audience a more realistic style of acting and the action that supports that. So I was really interested to see what the process would be like here in Mumbai. I was reading about you, and somewhere you have a very interesting way of networking with your stuntmen, in terms of the sort of restaurants they must be having a drink in, and how you just try and just interact with them in the territory that they are comfortable with. Mm-hmm. You think that's important in a teamwork that you guys indulge in?
Well, yeah, one of the things that you do when you're dealing in the stunt world, right. is that you have to, because what you do is dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. There's the physical challenge of performing a stunt. There's the intellectual challenge of figuring out how to do these stunts, how to do the rigging, how to make it as safe as possible. Then there's the emotional challenge of dealing with your fear, dealing with your anxieties, dealing with your heart racing, and so it's really important to be able to understand who the people you're working with at really the sort of most intimate level, so that you can predict how they might react, in a crisis, or if things don't go exactly as planned. So, and I know how to do things, and I've been very successful in creating stunts and how I would perform them. Right. But you also have to embrace people's own experience and be comfortable in their world and how they might approach the same kind of stuff.
For Bourne Supremacy, you had a very interesting, I think, way of just gauging the entire reaction from people. You had already seen the movie, and you're seeing it again with your team. And you like to observe the reactions from the audience, how they are reacting on various, because they have performed the same the stunts, but but after the edit and the VFX and all these things and the sound and all these things, a lot of changes do take place. So how do you look at that aspect, that what you're doing on the ground, and then all the enhancement that come from the technical team?
Well, the story you're talking about is particularly interesting to me because, working in Russia was not unlike working in Mumbai. It was, I didn't have, I had to teach 200 Russian citizens how to be background extras for a car chase because they'd never done it before. I had one broken down old truck as my insert car. Yeah, shooting in Moscow was actually was tougher. It was actually one of the most hardest experiences I've ever had because they don't make as many movies there as here.
Right.
The equipment available isn't nearly as great. So we struggled mightily to get the shots from day to day. And after the chase was done, I'd seen it. I knew it was really, really good. And I was at the premiere, and the entire stunt team was sitting in a row with me. And my biggest enjoyment was literally watching the stunt guys who knew what was coming because they performed the chase. They knew every beat. But it's like the story was so involving, the visceral nature of the story was so involving that even the stunt guys who knew what was coming were gripping the handrests. I could see their knuckles were white on the handrests in the theater. So it's like, I knew at that moment that we'd created something incredibly special.
What is the process like, since you've also directed you've directed Red Dawn, and you're a second unit director? You've basically graduated from being a stuntman to being a stunt coordinator to being like a second unit director, and now you've directed a movie as well. Now, apart from the fact that what you do on the field, and what important inputs do you bring in the edit stage as well as the VFX?
I honestly think the most important contribution I make is in pre-production. Okay, it's in choosing the locations. I write all the action I shoot, so I wrote all the action that we shot here. So it's like that the work I do with the actors, the work I do with the production crew, just to find that sort of visceral story to tell, find the emotional core of the action, so that I capture the appropriate footage. I prefer to let an editor, and Bourne, had Chris Rouse and Rick Pearson, were some of the best editors, not only action editors, but the best editors in the world. And I let them take their first pass, and I don't actually get involved. I don't want to say anything, because I'd like to be pleasantly surprised. Do they see something that's better than what I saw? So it's like I really like to let the artists, take their shot at it. And with guys as phenomenal as those two men, I think there are moments where they improved what I saw in my head. But then it's like I will sit with them after the first pass and go, for this shot, this take was better.
Right.
And so it's like I'll go and then sort of fine tune. But it's like I do share with them. I do incredibly detailed beat sheets, and in every sentence or every paragraph, I detail all the shots I'm going to use to cover that part of the action. And it literally is on the beat sheets, like I will spell out every punch, I'll spell out every turn, every hard braking slide. So I sort of pre-visualize in great detail the entire action sequence.
Say, for example, something like a SpiderMan, for example, or like a Superman. It's a superhero movie, and the stunts is something that people come in for. Like the millions and millions of dollars that it makes the world over. It's primarily the stunts that people come in to watch, and obviously augmented by the VFX. So for something like a Spider-Man or like a Superman, what is your process like in terms of how to make it different from what the past has been?
Honestly, I hate to bore you, but for me it's the same process. It's understanding the character. Okay, so in a superhero, and really the brilliance of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, particularly Spider-Man 2, is that he's found the emotional core, right? It's really people are there empathizing with Peter Parker, right? That's why Spider-Man is such a universally loved series, is because he's a vulnerable, troubled kid who has this great power, right? So there's a dichotomy. He feels real. So it's like, we jump into there and try and create spectacular action sequences
Right.
that exploit his abilities. I'm incredibly proud of in Spider-Man 2, the fight on the train with Doc Ock, right? It's like we did incredible wire work. The only CG involvement with the fight of Spider-Man 2 was Doc Ock's tentacles. Everything else was a real guy on wires or on a train that we flipped on its side or a train we turned upside down. So, we worked incredibly hard to make it feel real.
Something like a Mission Impossible. You're involved in stunts of Mission Impossible?
Ghost Protocol. I was the second unit director.
Yeah. So now I think it has some unbelievable stunts as well. Be it like was it what is it, Burj Khalifa in Dubai?
Yeah.
The tallest
Burj
building
Khalifa,
that's
yeah.
Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
So and the stunts that have been I think just pulled off from there, I think on 120 floor or something like that.
Yeah, no, it was
That must have been
160th floor and 120th floor.
120th floor.
And Tom Cruise is the only guy out there.
Right.
He did the entire thing.
Right. He did it on his own.
Yes, it's Tom Cruise. Nobody else was out there for that character except Tom Cruise.
But that must have been really dangerous.
Yeah, you have to trust your gear. If the rope will keep you safe at 100 feet, it should keep you safe at, he was actually up like 1,400 feet. But it's his work ethic. Tom Cruise has an incredible work ethic, and he's dedicated to giving his audience the best that he has to give, and that means that he doesn't want stunt doubles. The entire movie, there's only one stunt that he didn't do. Everything else he did himself.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You're speaking about writing action and writing the action sequences. Now, if you can speak about what exactly do you mean by writing action sequences, and something in the context of Ghayal, what different you've done?
Well, I got here, and one of the things that you can't help but notice when you arrive from the United States into Mumbai is the traffic.
Right.
Right. Particularly the traffic in the western part of Mumbai with the tuk-tuks or the auto rickshaws, and just the crazy it looks absolutely chaotic. Right. I'm as a Westerner, I'm kind of surprised that there aren't wrecks lining the road all day long. And I was like inspired by that crazy traffic that feels so dangerous to me. And it may not feel dangerous to you so much, but it feels really unusual to me. So I wound up writing a sequence where Sunny Deol's character is being chased by a heavily armed, Mossad agent, this, trained killer, and he's unarmed, and he winds up running through a very, very busy Mumbai street, trying to avoid getting shot, and he gets hit by multiple cars. A SUV actually drives over the top of him, and it's all done. We shot it in this, traffic that was based on actual Mumbai traffic. And it's an incredibly exciting, scary sequence that, we hadn't even finished shooting. We shot for like 4 days, and on day 2, I told Sunny, I kind of want to steal this sequence and put it in a Bourne movie, because it's that exciting. It's absolutely one of the most exciting things I've ever shot.
In terms of stunts and really cool stuff, what all can Sunny Deol fans look forward to?
Well, I think you have Sunny has has fights kind of throughout, and Sunny takes on multiple guys, but it's like he takes them on in a way that doesn't feel like there's sort of the traditional martial arts thing where it's like 10 guys standing around and each one comes at him. Okay. And we avoid doing that. I like to make things feel more logical, and dangerous. So it's like I think that kind of choreography works, and it's like you wind up caring about the characters. Again, it's for me, it's the emotional story. Mm-hmm. For Sunny, it's about the emotional story. And we have the kids in the movie on some of their first or second day of ever working on a movie. I had them jumping off a 6-story parking structure. So and it's like. And I had the cameraman secretly rolling this roll. We're not shooting it, we're not calling action, but I wanted to see those kids, looking down, looking away. I mean, it's scary to stand up
Absolutely.
80 feet off the ground and jump.
Must be. What about the safety precautions? What do you think is the importance of safety precautions, and how different is it in India compared to what you see in West?
I actually don't really see really a difference. I mean, it's like the stunt communities around the world you can't make a living if you're hurt. It's like I didn't see any deficiencies in safety. I mean, we did sort of big stunts on a nearly daily, if not weekly, schedule, and there are a few cuts and scrapes, but things were done very, very safely, exactly as I would expect anywhere else.
Right. What is the reason that you agreed to do an Indian movie like a Bollywood movie? Was it money, or was it Sunny Deol that you met in Los Angeles, I believe? What exactly was it?
It was meeting and having a connection with Sunny, and my own curiosity and desire to experience what it would be like to make a film, literally on the opposite side of the world. This is perfectly the opposite side of Los Angeles. And, it's the largest, most prolific film community in the world. I was offered a chance to participate. How could I turn it down? It's like, I've never been in a city that has more film posters on the walls and billboards than here. So it's like, to be invited to be part of this is a great honor.
Fantastic. What are you doing next, sir?
So I'm going to do Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
So
you're directing it, or?
No, I'm second unit.
Second unit director.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What about your direction? You'd like to direct again?
Yeah. No, I'm attached to a couple things. I actually agreed to do the next movie about a week too soon for one of the movies I've been trying to get off the ground. It now has its money. So as soon as I'm finished with Assassin's Creed, I'll start directing another movie with Jeremy Renner's company.
Fantastic. All right, sir. Thank you very much for being on Bollywood Hungama, and looking forward to your I think magnificent stunts in Ghayal sequel, and looking forward to more stuff from you in Hollywood as well.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Great interview.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.